And the Oscar goes to Parasite.
Parasite made history at the 2020 Oscars, collecting the first Best Picture award for a non-English language film. That's even more impressive when you consider that South Korean cinema only began to garner major international attention in the late 90s. So what's the story behind the so-called Korean wave, also known as Hallyu, and where's the best place to start watching? After decades of military dictatorship, South Korea rapidly democratized between 1987 and 1997, culminating in the election of Liberal Prime Minister Kim Dae-jung. In the years that followed, the South Korean film industry blossomed as it began to access bigger funding and distribution opportunities, crucially developing without censorship. It's against this backdrop that a number of filmmakers who grew up during the military dictatorship, consuming American mainstream cinema as well as more artistic films by Korean directors, began to emerge as blockbuster auteurs. Bong Joon-ho, Park Chan-wook, Kim Jee-woon and Lee Chang-dong have all made films that interpret specifically Korean themes and plots through the idiom of genre cinema, and each has achieved widespread critical and commercial success doing so. The obvious starting point for Hallyu is Shiri, a spy thriller which concerns North Korean sleeper agents working in South Korea. Far more interesting, however, is Park Chan-wook's Joint Security Area. The film opens with a visually striking sequence portraying a mysterious death on the border between North and South Korea, before flashing back to several months prior to tell the story of a unique friendship formed between border guards on both sides. JSA differs from previous depictions of South Korea's fractured relationship with North Korea in several key aspects. Not only does the visual style consciously borrow from action and thriller cinema, the film's nuanced portrayal of North Korean soldiers was groundbreaking for its time. During the military dictatorship, draconian censorship laws encouraged filmmakers to portray North Koreans in an unambiguously negative, unsympathetic way. These one-dimensional portrayals removed the risk of being seen as sympathetic to communism, a punishable offence. With the liberalisation of South Korean politics came a new policy of cooperation toward the North, nicknamed the Sunshine Policy. Among the benefits of this was the ability to explore more carefully the lives of people in the North, even soldiers. As one of the first films to do this, JSA generated massive interest, and the film's success established Park as a director to watch. As the commercial film industry in South Korea expanded rapidly in the late 90s, the industry moved into other genres away from the established thriller and gangster movies. Horror made inroads with the popular Whispering Corridors series, and following in its footsteps with its prominent teenage female protagonist is Kim Ji-woon's A Tale of Two Sisters, released in 2003. The film follows Soo-mi as she arrives home from a mental institution and tries to protect her sister Soo-yeon from evil stepmother Yoon-ju. Director Kim takes this traditional Korean story as a loose starting point and filters it through the Gothic tradition, setting the action of women struggling with madness in an isolated dark house and sprinkling in a few ghosts as well. With its roaming camera, ambiguous narrative and ominous production design, the film is reminiscent of Italian horror maestro Dario Argento. Kim is perhaps the biggest director of the Hallyu movement yet to make an English-language film, but his back catalogue is packed with gems, like Western pastiche The Good, the Bad and the Weird, or the intense thriller I Saw the Devil. Hallyu also includes films with less overt genre influences. The work of Lee Chang-dong is a prime example, although his debut Green Fish and the international hit Burning from 2018 feature gangster and thriller elements respectively. Peppermint Candy, Lee's second film, follows Kim Yong-ho, who arrives at a reunion for a club visibly distressed and commits suicide. The film explores his loss of innocence through a series of episodes in his life, revealed in reverse chronological order. This jumping through time is made all the more powerful by the clever use of visual motifs like the titular candy. Yong-ho takes it to his old crush as she lies in a hospital bed. It's what she used to send him when he was in national service. It recurs throughout the film at key moments. When last seen, they're scattered on the floor, stamped on by rushing soldiers. Lee uses this clever narrative structure to turn a character study into a political allegory. From losing a business to torturing suspects as a brutal police officer to participating in the military dictatorship, Yong-ho's personal tragedies reflect important episodes in South Korean history. Lee built on the success of Peppermint Candy with his next feature, Oasis, but the former film's focus on the troubled modern history of South Korea, coupled with its powerful lead performance from Sol Kyung-gu, makes it an excellent entry point into the artier side of Hallyu. Although Hallyu is primarily associated with thriller, horror and drama, the boom in South Korean cinema also saw a rise in romances and rom-coms, such as Kwak Jae-young's My Sassy Girl from 2001. Based on a series of popular blog posts about a young man's dysfunctional relationship with a drunk woman that he saves from falling on train tracks, it's an irreverent mix of screwball comedy and romance. Just make sure you don't pick up the forgettable American remake. And then there's the nearly unclassifiable Save the Green Planet by Jang Joon-hwan, which tells of a disturbed young man who kidnaps a pharmaceutical executive he believes to be an alien.
저 모르시겠어요? 고향 후배인데? 무슨 고향 후배? 아니 저 혹시 고향이 안드로메다.
With a hyperactive visual style and a bizarre plot that keeps the audience guessing, it's a fantastically entertaining watch. These films represent just a fraction of Hallyu. It's a massive and varied film movement marrying commercial sensibilities of all genres with art house themes, and as Parasite has shown, it's still thriving today.